Hello and welcome to the Daily Life Uncut Day 37. Now, as you just saw just a few minutes ago, in part 1 of today's video, me and my best friend Joshua Rush went ahead and decided to go ahead and name our favorite Marvel heroes, and for him was his top 5 DC heroes. So it was quite interesting to go ahead and do that. You know, a nice collaboration video for our first time doing something like this together. So if you want to see my top 5 DC heroes and his top 5 Marvel heroes, go over and check out Happy Time Bros. And as well as, make sure that you come back here to the Daily Life Uncut if you haven't already seen the first part of today's video, Day 37, Part 1, so to speak. We have my top 5. I believe mine is Marvel villains, and his is DC villains, with a couple honorable mentions for either or, because, there's absolutely one DC villain that I absolutely love, and you'll see that in just a moment in today's video. Other than that, without any further ado, part 2 of today's video, continuing the list of the top 5 Marvel DC superheroes. Let's do it.
My number 2 and my number 1 are really close, so I hate to say this, but my number 2 will be Bane. Bane is, once again, another Batman villain, but he is probably the most sane villain in Marvel, DC, Dark Horse, Blackgate, any of them, because he is not insane until Poison Ivy gives him Venom / Joker gives him Venom. So my Bane is before Venom, so BV, and just because he knows over 12 different martial arts, he knows over 15 different languages. He is a brute, and yes, he does still have that thing on his face, no matter what comic you look at. But one comic, he actually kills the Joker, and then the people felt bad that they killed Joker off, so they had to bring Joker back by Ra's al Ghul's pool or whatever. So,
Lazarus Pit.
Yeah, Lazarus Pit. So Bane is number 2, only slightly from my number 1.
Now, a little bit iteration on Bane. I specifically have to say that Bane is one of the stronger DC characters, and especially if you go by even watching the films in the Dark Knight trilogy, where they go through the vigilante side of Bane, where he's the smart, guy. If you go through the video games, where you're going through Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, Arkham Origins, he's the dumb guy, the big beefed up dumb guy, where it kind of feels as if he's, just by the Venom, or, in the game's case, the Titan formula, to make him that dumb guy. Now, once he became that big, buff, overpowered guy, he kind of lost a lot of his martial arts type skills, and just kind of became the guy to be throwing around Batman, so to speak. So it all really depends on which comic or which series you really follow to get a good interpretation of what Bane actually is. But going from that, I would like to go into a bigger guy than Bane. My Marvel top villain would have to be Galactus, the Eater of Worlds, the man who basically can consume an entire world like it's nothing.
Just like eating an apple.
Yeah, just like a normal day at the park, just picking off an apple off a tree, or an orange, or however you want to interpret it. Galactus has been the big villain of Marvel. Like, yes. He's always had, fighting Avengers. He's always been fighting, I believe,
X-Men, Thor.
Like, it was just nonstop. Like, he has been the big villain of
Fantastic
Marvel.
Four.
Yeah, he's just going after everybody. Which, if I'm not mistaken, he's either in Fantastic Four and or the next Avengers.
Yes. Fantastic Four he might be the villain in Fantastic Four, which will be really cool to see how they do Galactus.
Yeah.
My number one for DC is Poison Ivy. Before she was Poison Ivy, she's just a little nerd that loved plants, and she was a scientist and all this, until one day just something bad happened. She became this iconic sex symbol for DC. When you think Poison Ivy, you think of tight clothing, if any, and just she's so powerful, and then she corrupts Bane before she gives him the venom. So she actually has a henchman who knows all this stuff, and then there's rumors where she can destroy men's mind without even doing anything, which is a normal, they took it and it's like, you know what, all of our female characters don't like us anyway, so they made Poison Ivy in Batman, because so many women were like, why isn't there any females? So they made Poison Ivy, and that just irritated them even more.
Now, another little thing before we get into our honorable mentions, Poison Ivy has always been basically the female in the Batman series. You can kind of combat her with Harley Quinn, but yet Harley Quinn kind of gets a little humble towards her the end of her life cycle, so to speak, in the Batman series. So you can't really necessarily count her as an all-time villain. Poison Ivy has always been a villain, will always be a villain. I don't think that they could ever really humble her to do good or have good intentions. Like, she has good intentions in her own mind to try to save plants and try to save, the world from evil men, so to speak. But with her and her powers, she's basically kind of doomed herself to be a villain, period. Now, I would like to go ahead and let's jump into some extra credit, so to speak. So we're going to jump into our honorable mentions. And this time, my honorable mention is going to be a DC villain. Now, I kind of model my life around this DC villain, so to speak. I have, merchandise from him. I have even a car ring from him. I have posters. I have different, things. Like, I even call myself this character because I feel that I have that similar mindset, that similar flavor, that similar spice. And ladies and gentlemen, it is the Joker. The Joker is Batman's highest ranked villain. He is the biggest, the best, the most sinister, he's just all around a badass. Like, if you look at any iteration of Joker, he's always been basically a mind fuck to Batman. I'm sorry, I had to say it like that. He basically spun Batman for a loop on so many different occasions. He's always been there. Whether you can say in certain comics he's dead, you can say in certain ways that he's reborn, but really, truthfully, Joker has never died. And, you could go through the movies, you could go through the comic books. Joker really doesn't die. He's always there. He's always dealing with having the fun of hurting Batman in some way, whether it's through his mind or actual physical appearance. And that's why I think that Joker is by far, he's the most manipulative. He even takes other villains and manipulates them to his own personal gain to help and hurt Batman and stuff like that. So I absolutely got to say, 100% Joker is my top, if not the top, DC villain, period.
And my honorable mention would be Mystique from X-Men, because Mystique, once again, that was Marvel's version of... when it first came out, there wasn't that many females in X-Men or in Marvel, period, and a lot of the females at the time was like, we need one, so they made Mystique, another sex icon in the X-Men world. And because if you know anything about Mystique, she can change into anybody at any time because she's a shapeshifter. So if you don't know who Mystique is, go read a book, go watch a movie, look it up. Mystique is probably one of the best female villains of Marvel, and I say female villains because the male versions of the villains and everything could put her in her place. She's actually died in a few of the comics by Magneto's hand, and it is true that she did give birth to 2 kids, Nightcrawler and Quicksilver. So
thank you for watching today's video. If you sat through this long video, I know it's been a hard process. Thank you for sitting here. I absolutely love the fact that we're here doing this, 36 days and going strong. Like I said, it's for 365 days. We're not stopping. We're not slowing down. You will not see any jumps in our timelines or anything like that. We are going to be here, and we're going to be here to stay on YouTube. I've got some more information about upcoming projects that I'm doing, as well as I would like to say we're on the road to 100 subscribers. It is a very big doable thing, and I think that it is very possible. And other than that, go ahead and go over to my friend's channel, Happy Time Bros.
Happy Time Bros.
Go ahead and go subscribe, like, comment, tell him how he's doing. He absolutely loves to hear the feedback, as well as I do right here on the Daily Life Uncut. So other than that,
unlike my good friend Ernest, I actually like negative reviews, because if you tell me I'm doing something wrong, then I will change it automatically. Or if you're just a hater, I don't care, because in the good book it says a hater's gonna hate. So
other than that, like I said, this is our road to 100 subscribers. We absolutely love this. We love what we're doing, and we hope that you can help us grow our family. So tell your friends, parents, mothers, fathers, girlfriends, boyfriends, anybody that wants to hear it. Help us share it on Facebook. Go to my Twitter, @DailyLifeUncut. Go to Mr. Josh's Twitter.
I don't have one for my YouTube yet.
Okay.
I gotta make one.
So as we work on that, he's going to go ahead and make one within the next few days and set it up and release it on his channel. So make sure you go over to Happy Time Bros right here on YouTube.com and show us some support, show us some love. Like I said, you like it, hate it, comment, share, subscribe. Other than that, this has been the Daily Life Uncut Day 36, and as always, this is my journey.